What is up, guys, and welcome back to CGB Productions. Today we got our Week 5 NFL predictions. And going just looking at Week 4, I believe I went 11-6 last week. With the Niners showing up and pulling off a great win. You had the Seahawks coming and holding on with a late Rashad Penny touchdown to seal the deal. And who else? The Bengals came out and they had a decent game. Hopefully, prayers up for Tua. Hopefully he gets better soon. But I think the Dolphins should keep him out for a little while. I feel like it could be one of those situations where you just protect the player from themselves. And yeah, so it was a great Week 4. A lot of entertaining games, especially as a Vikings fan, that game came down to a double doink. Whether or not it was going to go to overtime in London. They never make it easy on their fans. I tell you what, they never make it easy. But like a lot of the players have been saying, a win's a win. They're 3-1, and we just gotta keep moving on to the next week, and maybe one day they'll click like they looked like they did in Week 1, but they still got a lot to go. So anyways, let's get into our game picks here. We got Thursday night, we got the Broncos and the Colts. Colts looking like they might be without Jonathan Taylor. Obviously the Broncos don't have Javonte Williams. Hoping for a speedy recovery for him so he can be back in time for next season. Seemed like it was a tough injury to have. But, so speedy recovery, hopefully, for Javonte Williams. And, we don't know if Russell Wilson's going to play. I know he's listed as questionable right now. But, there's a lot of factors to look at. The Broncos are at home. They're at Mile High. And I think if Jonathan Taylor's not able to go, I'm recording this on Tuesday. So if Jonathan Taylor isn't able to go, then I think I got to go with the Broncos because the offensive line for the Colts hasn't looked like they have in the past. They don't look like they looked last year, and the Broncos defense has been pretty good. They lost to the Raiders. I'm kind of proud of myself for calling that one. Wouldn't call myself an analyst or anything, but it's just getting some of those games that I think it's fun. Next, we got an AFC East matchup. We got the Dolphins and the Jets. Dolphins, they'll be with Teddy Bridgewater, coming off the Bengals loss. Like I said earlier, the Jets, they're coming off of that upset win over the Steelers. And I started Breece Hall in fantasy because I had Swift, and Breece Hall scored that last touchdown and put him up to, I think just under 16 points. Didn't need it because my team actually balled out last week, but still nice to see. Gives you some more confidence in the players you have on your bench. But Jets at home. This one's a tough one. Zach Wilson, he looked, pretty good, I'd say, against the Steelers. Dolphins, Teddy Bridgewater's a more than serviceable backup. They're paying him $6 million, I believe, guaranteed for a reason, to keep his arm warm, and hopefully, if he's done that, they got a good roster. I'm just looking. I feel like the Sauce Gardner matchup against either of the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, is going to be a good one. He still has his no touchdowns given up streak going. I think it all comes down to seeing how that goes. I know the Dolphins defense was kind of suffocating to run against. They have been all season. Don't know if the Jets will be able to, push the ball down the field like that. They're at home. Zach Wilson getting his second start of the year. I don't know if I can comfortably take the Jets. This one's, I'm probably overthinking it, but it's tougher than I think than you would think, and I feel like I'm just gonna go with Teddy Bridgewater and the Dolphins just because I think they got some things going for them that I think if Teddy Bridgewater can keep the ship going in the right direction, then they'll be good by the time Tua is ready to come back. So, moving on, we have the Steelers and the Bills. Bills, they finally broke that streak of being, 0-8, 0-9 in one-score games. And they came back in a 20-point comeback effort. That's always fun to watch. Josh Allen doing well. They're at home against the Steelers. Pickett in one half threw 3 picks. You can argue that a couple of them weren't his fault, but he still looked really promising. 2 rushing touchdowns. I just think Kenny Pickett's going to have a little bit of a learning curve here, especially since he has been named the starter. So I'm going to go with the Bills at home, who are still, in my eyes, the Super Bowl favorites. So we're just going to go there. Then we got the Texans and the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence looked like he was back at week 1 his rookie year. I believe I saw he had 4 fumbles. And then on the flip side, Davis Mills, he's also a second-year quarterback that, has had some highs and some lows. Jaguars are at home. Texans are a young team. Both are young teams. I think the Jaguars just this year are showing that they have a lot more talent than people thought. I think if James Robinson gets going, then it should be, just a no contest type of game. Kind of like they could shut them out like the Colts. But then again, Dameon Pierce last week against the Chargers, I believe, was on one. So I don't think you can really count the Texans out all the way. That being said, I'm going to go with the Jaguars in this one. Just feel a little bit of a safer pick to me. And then next, Chargers and the Browns. Man, this one seems a little tough, right? I mean, beginning of the year, especially with the Deshaun Watson suspension, you'd be like Chargers all day, every day. But the Browns haven't been playing too bad. They had a tough loss against the Falcons last week. Not something that you want to see if you're a playoff hopeful. But these Browns, I don't think you can count them out. Don't know if Keenan Allen's going to be able to go. That being said, I do have Austin Eckler on my fantasy team, and I don't know how I'd make a choice other than that. So I'm going to have to go with the Chargers, strictly based on the fact that, I'm hoping that Austin Eckler goes off. We got Bengals and Ravens. And, Bengals played a decent game last week. Ravens also had another big meltdown in the second half. So, it's kind of tough. Bengals 2-2. Are the Ravens? What are they're 2-2 as well. Okay. Man, this one's tough. Ravens looked good, so good in the first half last week. Then they just lost it all, and that could be credit to the Bills, or that could be just question marks about the offense and the defense here. I think the Ravens would be the safe pick, but I think the Bengals are trending in the right direction, so I'm going to have to go with them. And then we got the Chiefs and the Raiders to round off the AFC matchups. And this is another big AFC West matchup. Raiders, they're coming off of their first win of the year. They're 1-3. Chiefs are coming off a dominant win against the Buccaneers. It's this one. I'm definitely going to go Chiefs, but if the Raiders keep putting things together, I think there's so much talent on this roster that if they're able to get to Mahomes with the pass rush, then I think that'll work. But just looking at the plays, just the highlights that Mahomes had last week, it's hard to bet against him. And for that reasoning, I'm going with the Chiefs. Then we got some interconference matchups here. We got the Lions and the Patriots. Lions going at the Patriots. I'm not sure if Brian Hoyer's going to be going, but Bailey Zappi actually didn't look half bad. Lions, I've been in the two videos I've made on this so far. I picked the Lions to win both times, and both times they lost by 3 points. So I don't know if this is something that will continue, or if it's something that we'll be able to finally get over the hump. But I like the Lions. I'm a Vikings fan, and I've reiterated that. You guys are probably sick of hearing me say that, but I like the Lions. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I like what the Patriots have going on for them right now. They don't really have that identity at the moment. Or like someone that you can call out and be like, yeah, that's their playmaker. Like last year, it looked like it was going to be Kendrick Bourne for the next couple years, and now he hasn't really done much. And there's Jacoby Myers. Well, he's hurt. So like, what's going on with the Patriots? You don't know what's going on. The Lions have proved that they can put up points. So I'm just gonna go with the Lions in this one. We got the Titans and the Commanders. Titans, surprising win last week in my eyes over the Colts. I thought the Colts were going to have that one in the bag. Commanders, they're coming off pretty much a no contest against the Cooper Rush-led Dallas Cowboys. So I think, I want to say, I'm going to make a little bit of a bold prediction here, and I'm going to say Derrick Henry has his best game so far of the year, and he goes off. I think Derrick Henry's going to come home with 2 touchdowns. I don't know if I'm playing him in fantasy or not this week yet, but I hope I'm not. But I'm going to go with the Titans, and Derrick Henry has a big game. I just love to see it. I'd love to see it happen. Then we got the, continuing on the international games, we got the New York Giants and the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know what that was. Just a little mental lapse there. It depends on if the, I don't know how the Giants quarterback situation's looking. I don't know if all of them are back and ready to go, or if it's just going to be Saquon taking snaps the whole game. I do think Saquon will have a nice game because, I wanted to get him in fantasy, but someone took him like a pick or two before I picked, and I had a feeling he'd have a bounce back year. But I'm going to take the Packers in this one in London. They looked sharp defensively in the last couple games. The Patriots were able to put up 24 points on them, but I still think they looked pretty good, especially in the end of the fourth quarter and overtime there. So I'm gonna go with the Packers in London. Just a comfortable pick, I think. Then we got the Bears at the Vikings. Justin Fields last year in Week 15 had his best QB rating against the Vikings, and you can never, as a Vikings fan, you can never look at a divisional opponent and be like, they're not the best team in the world, and we should come out and we should put up some points on them. That's not how I look at it. I do think that yes, I'm gonna go with the Vikings, but I wouldn't be surprised if Fields has kind of a breakout game, because that's kind of how it goes with the Vikings and their NFC North divisional opponents. It's same thing, different year, same book, different chapter, whatever, however you want to say it. But I am gonna go with the Vikings. Gotta stay true to my fanhood there. So yeah. Then we got the Seahawks and the Saints. Saints almost beat my Vikings without Jameis Winston, Michael Thomas, or Alvin Kamara. I haven't looked if they're going to be back yet or not. Seahawks have been a surprise. I know they're only they're 2-2 along with the rest of the NFC West. So I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here. That'll put them as of now, before I get through the rest of the picks, in the lead for the NFC West, and yeah, it'll be something fun to watch if the Seahawks can pull that off and they can keep riding Geno Smith's back and keep some momentum going. Especially with how they looked offensively last week, I wouldn't be surprised. Then moving on, we got the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, they didn't really put up much of a fight against the Chiefs last week. Falcons had in my eyes, a surprise win over the Browns. But it's Tom Brady against the Falcons, and historically Tom Brady against the Falcons has been very good. I'm not going to say it for you Falcons fans out here, but all started back in 2016 with that Super Bowl, or 2017 technically, 2016 season. So I'm going to go Buccaneers. I don't know. I've seen a lot of things saying that maybe it's time for Desmond Ridder to show up, because it couldn't. I saw some Instagram pages being like, couldn't be worse, I mean, it's not like Mariota has been playing bad. I just feel like maybe Ridder has a little bit more potential throwing the ball, creating some for Kyle Pitts. Even though Arthur Smith keeps saying that we're not going for fantasy here, we're trying to win games, and yes, they win games. But when you draft Kyle Pitts as high as they did for a tight end, in the 2021 NFL draft, you better be using him, especially with as talented as he is. He's yet to have a touchdown in the United States as an NFL player, so I think you just gotta get him going. And I think until then, I don't know if I can't take the Falcons over when they're playing Tom Brady. That's just how I'm looking at it. So moving on to the 49ers at the Panthers. Man, has Baker Mayfield been a little disappointing this year. Christian McCaffrey, he's been balling, I'd say. He's been doing really well. I've heard some trade rumors with DJ Moore and going to Kansas City. I actually just heard that a little bit ago. I'm not sure how true those are, but I do like the way the 49ers played last week. Debo looked really good. George Kittle didn't make much of an impact in the passing game, but some of the blocks he was making were just nice. Like he still has it. I just think Garoppolo needs to look his way a little bit more. As he should, because it's George Kittle and he's put up historic numbers as at the tight end position on a season basis. So, but I'm gonna go with the 49ers at the Panthers. It's looking a little tough for that NFC South division. Falcons, who everyone thought, if this plays out how I have it so far, the Falcons would be second in the NFC South, and I don't know what that says about the other teams in that division, because the Falcons coming into the season were supposed to be fighting for that number one overall pick for their choice of Will Anderson or C.J. Stroud, or I believe Bryce Young will be in the draft this year. But anyways, NFC South looks like they got some work to do. So then we got the Cowboys, led by the undefeated Cooper Rush in his career starts. Makes me feel a little bit better about the loss that Cooper Rush gave the Vikings last year in his only start. The Rams looked pretty stagnant last year. They got down, or last week, they got down into 49ers territory quite a bit, but they couldn't finish it off. Not a single touchdown. Matthew Stafford looked like he only wanted to throw it to Everett and Kupp. And he's got some other weapons. I didn't really look to see how open they got, but there had to have been some times where he had other options to go and maybe make a better play. Cowboys have looked pretty sharp. Cooper Rush has a good connection with his receivers right now. So I'm going to go with the upset, and I'm going to take the Cowboys. So, yeah. And then, and that's kind of, I'm like very far from a Cowboys fan. I have one of my buddies is a Cowboys fan, and we make fun of him all the time just because that's what you do. But I'm going to go against my nature and take the Cowboys in that game. And then the final game that we have is the Philadelphia Eagles against the Arizona Cardinals at the Cardinals. You know, I believe, Arizona got the win last week, but it didn't look pretty. Eagles, I think I looked and they have two of the top three rated corners in Pro Football Focus. I don't know how much weight those ratings actually carry, but I bet on the Eagles to lose week 1, and they proved me wrong, and they continue to prove me wrong. If I would have made a video though on week 2, I would have picked them to beat my Vikings, and that would have been the right pick because I was scared when I saw what their offense was capable of, and I don't know if the Cardinals defense will be able to stop that. And I don't know if the Cardinals offense, especially without DeAndre Hopkins for another few weeks here, will be able to put up a fight or put up the points that they need, even though they are at home. I'm going to go with the Eagles. So there you have it, guys. That's my picks for Week 5 of this NFL season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It's hopefully going to be a good week. Hopefully we got some competitive games on the slate here. It's been a great season so far. It just seems like a lot of these teams' records could be flipped if you just switched a couple plays. So I feel like it's a very competitive year for the NFL. It's looking really good, and I think we'll have a fun Week 5 in store for you guys. So that all being said, these are my Week 5 picks. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. I'll have some, mid-season awards guesses, I guess, coming soon. And I might do some other things with this too. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'll figure it out as I go. But yeah, this has been CGB Productions, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.